Dear listeners, welcome to History with Herodotus, where we embark on a journey through the annals of time to unravel the mysteries of our shared human experience. Today, we find ourselves in the cradle of Western civilization as we delve into the fascinating tale of the history of Athens, democracy. This is a story that has captivated the imagination of scholars and laymen alike for millennia, and one that continues to inspire and inform our understanding of governance, freedom, and the human condition. As we set out on this expedition, let us first immerse ourselves in the historical landscape of ancient Athens, circa 700 BCE to I. The city-state, nestled in the heart of Attica, was a hub of commercial and cultural activity, with the Acropolis standing sentinel over the bustling agora. It was here, amidst the vibrant stalls and temples, that the seeds of democracy were sown. Our journey begins with the figure of Solon, the revered Athenian statesman and poet, who in 594 BCE was appointed to address the social and economic turmoil plaguing the city. The debt crisis, which had led to the enslavement of many Athenian citizens, was a pressing concern, and Solon's reforms aimed to alleviate the suffering of the poor and create a more equitable society. His introduction of the concept of citizenship, where all free men were granted equal rights under the law, laid the groundwork for the eventual emergence of democracy. As we explore the historical context of Athens during this period, we find that the city was undergoing significant transformations. The rise of trade and commerce had created a new class of wealthy merchants who challenged the traditional power of the aristocracy. The peasantry, too, was becoming increasingly restive, demanding greater rights and protections. It is against this backdrop that Solon's reforms must be understood, as an attempt to balance the competing interests of various groups and create a more stable and just society. The influence of neighboring city-states, such as Sparta and Corinth, also played a significant role in shaping Athenian politics and society. The Oracle of Delphi, with its mystical authority, offered guidance and wisdom to those seeking to navigate the complexities of statecraft. The cultural and philosophical currents of the time, as embodied by the works of Homer and Hesiod, further enriched the intellectual landscape of Athens. As we reach the dawn of the 6th century BCE, we find Athens poised on the cusp of a revolution that would transform not only the city itself, but also the course of human history. The stage is set for the emergence of a truly democratic system, one that would be characterized by the active participation of citizens in the decision-making process and a profound commitment to the principles of freedom and equality. The figures of Solon, Cleisthenes, and other key players in this drama will continue to shape the narrative as we explore the intricacies of a system that would go on to inspire countless generations of thinkers, leaders, and citizens. And so, dear listeners, we shall pause here, at the threshold of this momentous era, and prepare to embark on the next stage of our journey. Join me as we venture forth into the heart of this fascinating tale and uncover the intricacies of a system that would forever change the course of human history. Dear listeners, welcome back to History with Herodotus, as we continue our journey through the fascinating tale of the history of Athens, democracy. In our previous segment, we set the stage for the emergence of a truly democratic system in ancient Athens, with the reforms of Solon and the influence of neighboring city-states laying the groundwork for a revolution that would transform not only the city itself, but also the course of human history. As we now delve into the tumultuous and transformative events that define the apogee of Athenian democracy, we find ourselves in the midst of a cultural, philosophical, and political renaissance. The 5th century BCE was a time of unprecedented achievement for Athens, with the city-state reaching new heights of prosperity, artistic expression, and intellectual curiosity. At the heart of this transformation was the figure of Cleisthenes, who in 508 BCE introduced a series of reforms that would lay the foundations for Athenian democracy. His creation of the Boule, a council of 500 citizens chosen by lot, marked a significant shift towards representative government, while his reorganization of the Athenian population into 10 tribes helped to break down traditional clan loyalties and foster a sense of civic identity. One of the most striking examples of Athenian democracy in action during this period was the development of the concept of ostracism. This innovative institution allowed citizens to vote to exile any individual deemed a threat to the stability of the state, thereby preventing the concentration of power in the hands of a single individual or group. As the statesman and historian Thucydides would later observe, it was a time when the Athenians were at the height of their power, and their democracy was still in its prime. The cultural achievements of this period were equally impressive, with Athens becoming a hub of artistic innovation and intellectual inquiry. The iconic Parthenon, built during the reign of Pericles, stood as a testament to the city's wealth and sophistication, while the works of Aeschylus, Sophocles, and Euripides helped to establish Greek tragedy as a major literary form. The philosophical currents of the time were also deeply influential, with thinkers such as Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle helping to shape Western philosophy. As Socrates himself would say, "The unexamined life is not worth living," reflecting the Athenian emphasis on critical inquiry and intellectual curiosity. As we explore the historical context of Athens during this period, we find that the city was a cosmopolitan center, attracting scholars, artists, and politicians from all over the Mediterranean. The Athenians were renowned for their love of debate and discussion, with the Stoa of Attalus serving as a hub of intellectual activity. The legacy of this period can be seen in the many quotes and stories that have been passed down to us. For example, when Pericles delivered his famous funeral oration, he said, "What you leave behind is not what is engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others." This quote encapsulates the Athenian values of civic responsibility, public service, and the pursuit of excellence. As we reach the pinnacle of Athenian democracy, we find a system that was truly remarkable for its time. With its emphasis on citizen participation, accountability, and the rule of law. Athens had created a model of governance that would inspire countless generations to come. And so, dear listeners, as we pause at the height of Athenian democracy, we must also begin to consider the challenges and contradictions that would eventually contribute to its decline. The seeds of instability were already being sown as the demands of empire and the pressures of war began to take their toll on the city-state. Join me as we venture forth into the twilight of Athens' golden age and uncover the complexities of a system that would forever change the course of human history. Dear listeners, welcome back to History with Herodotus, as we explore the tumultuous events that marked the decline of Athenian democracy and reflect on the lasting legacy of this extraordinary experiment in self-governance. As we transition from the heights of Athens' cultural, philosophical, and political achievements, we must now confront the challenges and contradictions that would eventually contribute to its downfall. The Peloponnesian War, which ravaged Greece from 431 to 404 BCE, was a significant factor in the decline of Athenian democracy. The war effort placed an enormous strain on the city-state's resources, leading to economic hardship, social unrest, and a decline in civic participation. The war also saw the rise of demagogues like Cleon, who exploited the fears and anxieties of the population to further their own interests. One of the most significant events that marked the decline of Athenian democracy was the Athenian Plague, which broke out in 430 BCE. The plague, which is believed to have killed up to 1/3 of the city's population, including the great leader Pericles, led to a breakdown in social norms and a sense of disillusionment with the democratic system. The oligarchic coup of 411 BCE, led by Antiphon and Therames, was another significant blow to Athenian democracy. The coup, which was supported by the Spartans, saw the establishment of a narrow oligarchy that ruled Athens for several months before being overthrown. This event marked a turning point in the history of Athenian democracy, as it revealed the deep-seated divisions and weaknesses within the system. The trial of Socrates in 399 BCE, which resulted in his execution, was also a significant event that marked the decline of Athenian democracy. The trial, which was motivated by political and ideological considerations, highlighted the tensions between the democratic system and the pursuit of philosophical inquiry. Despite these challenges, the legacy of Athenian democracy continued to inspire and influence Western politics. The ideas of citizen participation, accountability, and the rule of law, which were pioneered in Athens, have had a lasting impact on modern democracies. As the historian Edward Gibbon would later observe, the Athenians, in the most flourishing period of their commonwealth, were governed by a democracy which, though imperfect, was adapted to the genius and circumstances of the people. As we reflect on the decline of Athenian democracy, we must also acknowledge the complexities and nuances of this extraordinary experiment in self-governance. While it was marked by contradictions and challenges, it remains one of the most significant and influential periods in human history. The story of Athens serves as a reminder that democracy is a fragile and dynamic system, which requires constant nurturing and attention to survive. In conclusion, dear listeners, our journey through the fascinating tale of Athenian democracy has come full circle. From its emergence in the 5th century BCE to its decline in the 4th century BCE, we have explored the triumphs and challenges of this extraordinary experiment in self-governance. As we bid farewell to ancient Athens, we must remember the enduring legacy of its democratic ideals, which continue to inspire and shape our modern world. Thank you for joining me on this journey through history, and I hope that the story of Athenian democracy will remain with you forever. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, remember that to understand the present, we must first understand the past.